EA Sports UFC is a hard game. Lots of complex, nuanced controls that genuinely require a fair understanding of the sport of MMA to really get into. It's quite an achievement though. Graphically stunning, the fighting is intense, back and forth, and brutal. It's all good stuff, but who are the best fighters in the game? Well, these lot. These 5. In the real world, our number 5, Georges St-Pierre, has taken a self-imposed sabbatical from the sport. He isn't retiring, not yet anyway, and he remains one of the most well-rounded, gifted athletes the UFC has ever seen. His work ethic outside of the octagon changed the sport. I mean, he even chose to step away from the UFC whilst holding the welterweight title for the 3rd time. His speed and jiu-jitsu are outstanding, and he also has some dangerous kicks. The fact he can end a fight as fresh as he started means you can really help learn the game's tactics with St-Pierre, more so than many other fighters. Conor McGregor is one of the most popular fighters in the UFC by far. The outspoken Irishman is all about style. He has a very unorthodox array of moves. He's lightning quick and has a counter for everything. In his own words, there is no bad move, there is a time and a place for every move. And that is certainly the case for him in the octagon. Use his speed and variety of technique to put opponents off and throw them off guard. Expect a lot of people to use him online, as he can just confuse you and before you know it, he's got you in a submission. Whilst he isn't the highest rated, he's easily one of the most fun fighters to use. The introduction of the female division has been controversial, but it's also been super competitive, and one fighter stands out above the rest: Ronda Rousey. She is as tough as they come, and her submissions are deadly. If you can take the fight to the ground and lock in an armbar, it's usually game over for the opponents. She isn't one-dimensional though. She has quick hands, so using her boxing to weaken opponents before diving in for the big takedown is usually a fairly good recipe for success. In at number 2 is Jon Bones Jones. The cover star is a prodigy. The youngest champion in UFC history, and both his brothers playing in the NFL, there is something in the blood with the Joneses. There isn't one particular strength or weakness, he's just an exceptionally gifted fighter. He can wrestle, his Muay Thai knees are as dangerous a weapon as anyone possesses in the UFC. Jon Jones is just a straight-up, very dangerous man. You won't find a better fighter in the light heavyweight division.
Jon Jones really gets to beat Jon Jones.
Number 1 is the man considered by many to simply be the greatest MMA fighter of all time, Anderson Silva. If you wanted to build an MMA fighter from scratch, it would be Anderson Silva. Not just the most physically gifted, but probably the quickest thinking fighter out there. He boasts having the most amount of fight bonuses than any other fighter. He's just spectacular, able to duck and weave out of the way of any number of attacks and then counter with big knockout power. Silva is simply the best in the business. So there we have it, the best 5 fighters to use in UFC. Go forth and virtually kick your friends in the face.